Well, I started out as a technician for Verizon telephone company, and I worked there for 30 years. While I was there, I got 2 degrees in art, bachelor's degree and master's degree in fine art. When my career in technology was coming to an end, I got an ice cream machine as a birthday gift, and I became completely obsessed with making ice cream. And I was making full dairy ice creams like Mars Capone ice cream. And my wife said, you have to make some kind of ice cream that we could eat every day. So I made like a creamsicle orange coconut cream, and I made a Turkish coffee sorbet. And we had some friends over for dinner, and they said, "Wow, this is really good." And that was in 2010, and I just kept going from there. I went to the Culinary Institute of America to learn more about cooking. I went to Penn State agriculture program in ice cream laboratory, and I realized but nobody was doing vegan frozen desserts in 2010, and little by little it caught on, and I am super busy now. Everybody understands plant-based frozen desserts now. Everybody gets it. It's not a mystery. People want it, and it feels good to be a little bit ahead on stuff like that. Actually, there's two parts to art. There's the idea, invention, and then there's the mastery of the technique. And that was similar to making ice cream. There were flavors I wanted to make, there were ideas, and then there's the technique involved. And actually, there's things you have to know. There has to be at least 15% sweetener. There has to be at least 17% fat. There's like things you have to have in there to make good ice cream. You can't just make it out of anything. After experimenting, and actually for years, it became like a second nature thing where if someone says to me, I want to make a champagne sangria sorbet, well, I know exactly what I have to do. It's really fun. It's hard fun. I was reading a New York Times article about a young guy who was an information technology specialist who was getting burnt out, constant deadline, high pressure. He was in San Francisco, and he started a sorbet company called Scream Sorbet. He was using Pacojet exclusively. I never saw anyone use Pacojet for production. I mean, I've seen it in restaurants. You know, it's such an amazing tool where you could make one serving of fresh ice cream per customer. But when I saw what this guy was doing, he had like 5 of them. And I thought the size of the Pacojet and the fact that you don't need any kind of a special electricity, the beakers, everything is just so small. It was perfect for me. And then the quality of the frozen dessert, you cannot match this. People don't even get it. It's like silk. It makes this the most beautiful product ever. My first recipe was the 2 flavors I was doing with the home ice cream maker, the Turkish chocolate coffee and creamsicle. It made my product so much creamier that my wife started mentioning flavors that I should make. And she was really right. With the Pacojet, everything started coming out just so nicely. I was experimenting more, and my flavors were just coming out great. I think I started with 2 flavors. By the end of the season, I had 5 flavors. Now I think I have over 100 flavors that I rotate through the season, and I make special orders for jobs. Like I made a cucumber wasabi for catering jobs. I have an Emery Thompson batch freezer. Emery Thompson invented the batch freezer. His great-grandson, Steve Thompson, is still running the company. And the difference is it's every single thing in the batch freezer is absolutely critical. Like if you don't have enough fat, if you leave it in the machine too long, if you don't have enough sugar, it's just so critical. The Pacojet is so forgiving. You make a 24-ounce batch. If that doesn't work, you only wasted 24 ounces. I mean, it's so much safer for experimenting. When I take that beaker out, there is nothing that compares to the silky quality of that ice cream. It is amazing. Scott he's one of a kind. He takes this very seriously, and his reputation is this kind of service. I'll give you an example. The machine, it was stopping. So I called up Scott. He told me exactly what to do. So he got me up and running. Now, that was until I could come in. But He saved me. Another time, the air hose went up into the machine. So I called him up. He was on vacation. They sent me the air hose. He talked me through the installation of the air hose. He does the thing that I need him to do. There's never a question. I live 125 miles from here, and I ask him if he could fix my machine while I wait. It's the exact piece of equipment I need, the exact kind of service that I need, when I need it. There are very few people that I've met that have the commitment to the product that Scott has. Not just the Pacojet itself, which is a tool that you can't compare it to anything, but to service this tool, it's very specific. I mean, I couldn't do it without him. Absolutely. It's a little expensive for the average home chef, but you see some kitchens nowadays where they have Viking stoves and, Sub-Zero refrigerators and stainless steel countertops and stone countertops for making pizza dough. People are doing this, and Pacojet is not obviously just a frozen dessert system. You can make so many things with Pacojet, and the size of it, the size of a coffee maker. It could fit on the counter in any home chef's space. How much is a Viking stove? It's very expensive. So the same home chef that would have a Viking stove would probably have no problem having a Pacojet. Well, from the frozen dessert point of view, I do not see, there's no downside to it. The product is so creamy and perfect. The idea of test batches, there's a lot of testing. Everything about it is just exactly right. If I had a big restaurant, I would certainly have a Pacojet station in my kitchen. If you're making a sauce for one customer, you can spin off the sauce for one customer. You can make stuff so custom. It's a super valuable tool. I don't see the downside to it. I mean, the size, the quality of the product, the way it can customize it to your own needs. Strawberry rhubarb ice cream. Now, rhubarb is a vegetable that's on the bitter side, and it's a very British thing. Strawberry rhubarb is very British, but it has only 4 ingredients: strawberries, rhubarb, coconut cream, agave. And it's my best-selling flavor. It's my signature flavor. Nobody has it. And everybody who comes to my frozen dessert stand, every single person comments, they all want it. They all take it. 4 ingredients. You can't go wrong. I am not vegan, but I eat mostly plant-based diet, and I've been that way almost my whole life. I live in New York. New York is a place that has many rules and regulations. So if I was going to do milk or cream, I would have to have a room in my commercial kitchen just for milk. It's called a milk room. It has to have a separate drain in the floor. It has to have separate sanitation. I have to be inspected by the health department. And really good dairy is only about 9% fat. And to make really good ice cream, you need about 14% fat. Coconut milk and coconut cream is 17% fat. It comes in a can, so it's not dairy. So I don't need a milk room. I don't need the health department. I only have one inspector, the Department of Agriculture and Markets. It made my business so much more possible. And the timing of it seemed right to me. At the time, not a lot of people were doing non-dairy frozen dessert. So I became a unique offering, and I became a curiosity. A lot of people were interested in, what are you doing? It became a niche market for me. And I fit right into that because my products are so good that nobody says, oh, I miss dairy. It's just delicious. To make really good ice cream, you need sweetener because sugars, agave, cane sugar, inhibits freezing. You keep your ice crystals very small, and that's why it's creamy, because you have tiny little ice crystals. If you have less than 15% sugar, the ice crystals are bigger. So you can't really make a sugar-free. I mean, people use things like aspartame, which is an alcohol made from sugar. Alcohol, fat, sugar inhibit freezing. So you want to have those things, a combination of, you could use salt as well. Salt inhibits freezing. You don't want to have too much salt, but people do use salt in frozen dessert recipes so that you get to that point where you have a creamy product. So far, I have not been able to do a sugar-free flavor. I've done ice pops that are made with over-ripened fruit, but there's a lot of sugar in over-ripened fruit. Well, I did say this already, but I have friends who are in the ice cream business. And when I visit their store, I see their milk room and I see what they do to make their product. I ask them, why wouldn't you get a Pacojet just to do test batches? Because you can make these small test batches and you don't have to commit to 6 gallons of ice cream. And they're like, well, it's expensive. And I say, but don't you see how in the long run, it's not expensive? Because you're not wasting anything. You're making a 24-ounce test batch. And if you have your flavor profile in 24 ounces, you're not making a 6-gallon batch. It's funny too, because people don't always see the value of something that they haven't done before. But again, I don't see what the downside would be to having a Pacojet in your kitchen. It's the size of it and the utility of it. It does so many different things. I mean, even the different blade kits, like I just use the one blade, but there are blade kits for that puree fruit. Really, it changes the way you use the kitchen. Thank you very much.